And welcome back for another edition of Cape. Today it is Wednesday, August 19th. Heather and I have two interviews to share with you. Right up the top, we're going to talk to Elise Sinagra. She is the new director of Elder Services for the City of Gloucester at the Rose Baker Senior Center. What you think, Heather?
Well, I just think it's amazing what they do there at the Rose Baker Senior Center, and Elise is the perfect fit for this job. And I think there's a lot of good content for the seniors in this interview.
So congratulations, Elise. Take it away.
Serving my community, serving seniors in my community is really like a dream for me. I just can't imagine something that would be more meaningful, and to have something so meaningful to focus on right now while we're all in the midst of these unprecedented times is something that I consider to be a great blessing. So thank you for that. Some of the stuff that we're working on right now, we're staying in very close contact, with the health department here at the city level and with the Mass Council on Aging. And we, of course, are looking forward to the day when the senior center can once again be filled with laughter and friendships and music and all of that stuff that everybody has come to associate with the Rose Baker Senior Center. Because of the vulnerability of the population that we serve, we have to take that very slowly, and we have to operate, with just extreme caution because of that population. So because of that, really, what I kind of am focusing on is that it's the time for out-of-the-box thinking. We're trying to get very creative in thinking of ways that we can provide services to seniors, services that would be, virtual programming, and trying to address some of the ways to help seniors to maybe get past whatever technology hurdles they might have that might impede them in accessing some of that virtual programming. So we're very actively working on that. We're trying to put some programming in place. We're almost there. I don't have anything I can announce right now, but it's coming very quickly. And also I'm doing a lot right now to try to ramp up our communications, because it just seems like a really important time to be able to communicate with people in a more timely manner. And as much as the seniors in the community love the Coastline News, which is our monthly paper newsletter that goes out in the mail once a month, and everybody loves it. So we're still doing that. That's not going away. But I am going to be implementing an emailed version of the newsletter so that as we put additional programming in place, we can communicate to seniors about that in a more real-time fashion, that can happen very quickly to get the news out, and not only get the news out, but provide them with clickable links. Because one thing that the hard copy newsletter has is that some long URL address that people might have to try to type into an address bar, and we don't want to make it any part of technology any more difficult for anybody. So that email newsletter is going to have several advantages. I would encourage seniors, if you don't get an email version of that newsletter, if you believe that we might not have an email address on file for you, please give us a call and just get us that email address. We promise you that if you do start getting these email newsletters, because you do have we do have your email address on file, it will have a very clear and easy to click on unsubscribe button. We're not going to inundate anybody's email. We just hope to be able to communicate with people instead of once a month by hard copy thing that comes in the mail, maybe a couple times a month, with some of those advantages that come with the electronic, email newsletter. So that's some stuff that's going on. We also right now have recently, well, maybe about a month ago, resumed doing our discount trash bag sales, which is incredibly popular. The seniors were really excited when we once again could resume selling those trash bags, which we sell at a discount to seniors. That's been great. We do that by appointment, and that's drive-through style. So, and that's a great thing. Even such a small act as just calling and making your appointment and coming by to pick up your discount trash bags. This gives that opportunity to, I'm out there sometimes when I see Sheila or one of the other staff members, Michael, and all these faces that our seniors know so well. I'm the new kid on the block. So for me, it's just kind of a meet and greet with folks. But when they see some of the staff members that they know so well, and I get to see those moments of connection where everybody's so excited to just see each other, and we're all practicing smiling from behind our masks and smiling with our eyes. But it's really not hard to you don't have to practice that, because everybody's just so full of joy to see each other, even if it's just for a quick transaction to sell a trash bag. So that's one of the things that we are doing. And we also are conducting a lot of phone outreach social work services. So if seniors need assistance, really from anything, from getting a referral to a Shine counselor, help with, a SNAP application, food stamps, any kind of benefit that a senior might need, safe link phones, helping with applications like that. Anything really at all that a senior might need, we encourage you to call the office for, because if we can't provide assistance with that service directly, we're going to be able to refer out to somebody who can. And then what we provide is support and advocacy throughout that process. So if somebody does circle back to us and say, geez, I got in touch with whoever you referred me to, and maybe I hit some kind of snag, or I could use a little bit of assistance, we provide that assistance. And part of our outreach social work services that we're providing right now is a friendly phone call program, where we just have some seniors who, early on in the COVID crisis, we had reached out to, and we said, hey, would you like to just get a friendly phone call from Ann Freeman, our social worker? And she's been doing that. She calls folks just to kind of chat. And those have been some of my favorite times since I've been here too. I've only been in this position for about 6 weeks. And the seniors who have called just to say hi to me, just to say, hey, I just wanted to say hi, and we have a nice little chat. And it's just so great to be able to connect. And we're trying to think outside the box, and like I said, and trying to find new ways to connect with folks.
So Elise, I know that one of the largest concerns right now, particularly for seniors, is safe voting, with the primary election coming up and then also November. Do you want to talk about what seniors should be thinking regarding voting?
Absolutely. Thank you, Heather. So seniors count. They count to everybody in the community. They need to count in many different ways, including voting. Seniors can request a vote by mail or an absentee ballot. They can vote either of those ways. They can do that by returning the application that they received in the mail. If they're concerned about any kind of mail delay issues, at all, there is a drop box that's set up at City Hall on the Warren Street entrance. There's a drop box right there, so they can deliver either their application for those ballots into that drop box, or when it gets to the point where they actually have that ballot and they want to return it, they can return that to that drop box as well. Really, any of the questions that they might have about voting, they can address to the city clerk's office. I just spoke with our city clerk this morning, and she really couldn't emphasize enough that they are incredibly happy to speak with seniors about any questions that they might have about the voting process, so that they can be heard, they can be counted, and do so in a safe manner.
Great. And it's also really important that everyone responds to the census. And that might be something that the seniors might not quite realize is super critical, right?
Yes, thank you, Heather. The census is incredibly critical. And another way that seniors, like I said, seniors count. They count to us, they count to everybody in the community. We need them to count at every level. And the census really enables the seniors to be part of the count that, I think a lot of people realize, but maybe still some don't. That census determines a lot of things. I mean, it determines a lot of the funding that we get here at the municipal level for a lot of the different services that seniors rely on every single day that are very important to them. Filling out the census is safe and it's easy. It's fairly simple, but if anybody does have needs any assistance at all in filling out the census, that's something that we'd be glad to provide here at the Senior Center, so they can just call and we can help them with that process as well. So yes, be voted, stand up and, be counted, stand up and make sure that you're counted in that census. It's important in so many ways.
My father was a letter carrier for years, and so that for mail delivery was one of the most important things in a senior citizen's life. There was someone for a lot of people to look forward to. They loved the routine of it. It was another person to interact with every day. I just kind of want your thoughts on that and how the Senior Center is helping seniors who are feeling isolated during the pandemic.
Right. Well, yeah. The mail is incredibly important, especially with voting, which is why the city did set up that drop box on Warren Street to just kind of to do what we can about some portion of that of any mail delays that people might be experiencing. Social isolation. I'm glad to hear you bring that up, Corey, because that has been an issue even pre-COVID. Battling social isolation with the senior population is important. We know that there are health outcomes that are affected by social isolation, really lots of things. So it's very important. And of course, with COVID, it's exacerbated that, just like it's exacerbated many problems really that we have as a society. So I that's part of kind of our ongoing efforts. That friendly phone call program that I mentioned is one of the things that we're doing to battle that. And I think a lot of that kind of outside the box thinking that I alluded to just a couple minutes ago is really focused on that, is trying to think of like, okay, what can we do to address this really wide range of where seniors are at with technology. We can't really pigeonhole our seniors and assume that they, you know, can't take advantage of tech, because a lot of them can. We also, wait a minute. But we do know that folks that really are at the end of the technology spectrum where they can't take advantage of some things like maybe Zoom quite yet, we're brainstorming ways that we can help them get past any technology hurdles they might have. We're working very closely with the Council on Aging Board, who's a fabulous bunch of people. We just reconvened that group. So I'm getting a lot of support from them, and we got a lot of ideas bouncing around. And then we're going to be reconvening the Friends of the Council on Aging as well to get some more assistance from them and loop more people in to get more ideas about additional ways that we can address the social isolation, again, for everybody on wherever they are on that spectrum of what they can take advantage of virtually, ways that we can bring some socializing into seniors' homes seems to be very important. And one of the ways that we're doing that right now, and it's one of the most low-tech ways, is something that you guys are familiar with, which is a show that we do on 1623 called Unleash the Power of Age. And I just had a fabulous meeting with Jennifer Lee the other day, and we talked about some fun ideas that we have moving forward with that program. I want to make sure that seniors know that Unleash the Power of Age is available on Channel 12 twice a day, almost every day. I think when I looked at the schedule, there was one day where it was only on once, but every other day it's on twice a day. So Jennifer Lee and I are in active discussions to try to figure out some ways, again, that we can kind of think a little bit more expansively about ways that we can, instead of having that be purely informational, because she does a fabulous job of bringing information into the homes of seniors through that program. But we want to try to think of ways that we can maybe have some episodes of that are a little bit more just kind of fun and focused on bringing some kind of socializing through that mechanism into the homes of seniors.
So I'd like to ask Elise, how useful do you think Zoom would be as a tool for this population? Are they using it now? Are you finding that our seniors are familiar with Zoom? And I mean, I think it's a pretty good way to feel less isolated, right?
Yeah, it is. And there is that really broad continuum, there's a continuum of where people are on comfort with technology. So I think that's why it's dangerous to assume anything. We can't assume that people are not going to be able to take advantage of Zoom, and we certainly can't assume that they can. So we're trying to kind of keep that in mind in all things. We do know, I've reached out to a lot of the instructors that we had, back in the old days when we were open pre-COVID. And we had some great exercise instructors, and our seniors really had great connections with those people that taught classes like chair yoga and Parkinson's fitness, so Tai Chi. So I've reached out to some of those instructors about some Zoom activities that they already have going, and we're going to be disseminating that information. And they've been getting pretty robust participation. Because again, there's always going to be that segment of the, of that larger senior population that is comfortable with Zoom, and that really is already taking advantage of those things and hopping on Zoom exercise classes. So we're putting some of that programming in place on our own, through the senior center. And again, we'll be announcing some dates and times and some more specifics about that just as soon as we put a couple of the final finishing touches on the details of that. But the other thing, like I said, is trying to figure out how we can bring along more people, try to assess where they're at. Is it just, do they have problem with hardware? Do they need a tablet? Do they need something like that? There are ways that we're looking at to address things like that. And then there are also ways that we're meeting with the team here that used to host the computer classes that took place here at the senior center, to try to, again, to brainstorm ways that we might be able to bring some more seniors along and get them more comfortable with a platform like Zoom. Because it really is so, we all know at this point, I think that it's pretty simple. You click on that link, and as long as you have it already downloaded, so that seems to be the hurdle, is just for some folks taking that step of downloading the Zoom application so that it can then be that easy for it to just be a link that they can click on. So we're working on that. We're very aware that this is an important tool, and going into the winter months as we start to just have to contend with our New England winters, which can be so fun anyway. We think Zoom is going to be even more important. So we're focusing on that. And again, we're brainstorming some ways to bring some folks along, always with the thought in the back of our mind that not everybody is going to want to, again, because of that vast continuum of where seniors are with comfort with technology. And with some of them, it is that they're not comfortable with it at all, that they don't want to even try to engage for very understandable reasons. And that's why I always think about what a great resource it is that we have 1623, and that we do have that outlet to be able to bring some fun and engaging stuff that feels social to them right into their living rooms through that mechanism of Unleash the Power of Age. The amount of support that I've been getting from different, sectors of the community is really amazing. When we reached out to seniors about the things like the friendly phone call program, and we tried to do kind of assess for social isolation risk, what we did hear from a lot of seniors is that they really do, that they're getting a lot of contact, more contact from friends and family. So we know that it's not just us. We're definitely not the only ones worried about whether or not seniors are feeling socially isolated. They are hearing from a lot more from family and friends who are also trying to keep them socially engaged. And that just speaks to the strength of our community and how much everybody in the community really does care for our seniors. We used to have an amazingly popular program here where we distributed coupons so that seniors could take advantage of the farmers market, would give them the coupons, and they could go up to the farmers market. And that was great because it was a nice activity for them, and it got them out and up to the farmers market. And it also addressed food insecurity, which is another issue that we're always aware of with seniors. So this year, because of the changes that COVID brought to the farmers market and how that's structured, we really couldn't do that coupon program. But in working with senior care, we found another way. We worked with them, and the farmers put together pre-bagged, a beautiful assortment of pre-bagged local farmers market produce. We took applications from income eligible seniors, and this past Wednesday, we just distributed close to 140 bags of beautiful, vibrant, colorful local produce to seniors. And that was awesome because we did that drive-through style here at the, in the parking lot. And again, just seeing people and for me, being the new kid, it was just kind of saying hi and introducing myself. It was some folks that I know because I am born and raised here, so I do know a lot of the folks, but mostly seeing the rest of the team members here, seeing, my staff who are amazing, the way they engage with the seniors, those smiles that we all saw from behind the mask, just in waving to people and giving them their produce. That was all fantastic. And as part of that program, we also collaborated with the Seniors on the Go bus, which is a program from Mass in Motion, which is really amazing. And I want to talk a little bit more about that in just a second. But that Seniors on the Go bus was fantastic. We looped them into the process, and we delivered some of that produce, about 40 bags of the produce, went up to the senior housing developments here in town. So folks that were in senior housing didn't even need to find a way to come down here. We brought it right to them. And the folks at the Housing Authority were fantastic in collaborating with us to make that happen, and the Seniors on the Go bus, which is another great thing. So I want to just say a couple words about the Seniors on the Go bus. That bus is fantastic. Here is the schedule. You probably can't see it very well here on Zoom. If anybody wants more information on that, I do want to let you know that Seniors on the Go, their 2020 schedule, is for residents of McPherson, Sheedy, Clark, Lincoln, and Poplar Parks. And seniors can call and reserve a seat. On Tuesdays, they walk the boulevard. The bus will pick seniors up and bring them down to the boulevard for a walk. And not only does that address the very real need to keep moving, we need to keep moving. We know that that's important for our physical health, but that's another way that we're addressing social isolation as well. Let's get them on the bus, get them down to that boulevard, you know what I mean, for a nice walk where they can see each other, which is fantastic. And the Seniors on the Go bus also goes to Marshall's Farm Stand. It brings seniors grocery shopping at all of the grocery stores, Market Basket, Shaw's, and Stop and Shop. It also brings seniors down to that wonderful seafood opportunity down at Fisherman's Wharf, where people are doing the drive-through to buy some of that local seafood. It's also bringing seniors to the open door food pantry, which we all know is such an incredibly vital resource here in the community and always does such a great job. So that Seniors on the Go bus is really just an incredible resource, and they can call us if they want more details about that, or they can call Kata, who does the scheduling for that. And Kata, of course, is at 283-7916. And I do want to say that we just got the numbers in from the Mass in Motion program and from the Seniors on the Go bus. And last month, they provided 105 rides to seniors safely, you know what I mean, with all the safety protocols in place to take that bus to all of these different places that I just outlined. So we know that that's a very real need that seniors have, is transportation in the midst of this. And we're happy that that's a way that we're addressing that need. And also as a side effect of addressing that need, there is that little component of some of that addressing the social isolation as well.
Yeah, and to know that these are safe rides, that all the compliance is intact. That's really good. You know.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard, I think, in this day and age. It's hard to kind of bill anything as, 100% safe, just in life in general, I think, and specifically now with COVID. But I can say that these rides have been thought through thoroughly. And they're happening with, in consultation with all of our public health officials who are just fantastic. And they're, the safety protocols that are in place, the seniors feel comfortable with. So, and everything with that is going really fantastically so far. So we expect with last month doing those great numbers, we expect to see, similarly good numbers for August when they come out.
So seniors can figure out the schedule for this Mass in Motion, or actually for the Seniors on the Go bus. We'll be able to post that, maybe? We can find it on your site and we could post it?
Well, it's not on the Council on Aging, the city's Council on Aging website. Oh, and another thing that we're doing too, so that kind of leads me into, again, getting back to beefing up our communications channels. We're trying to beef up our Facebook presence as well. So seniors, I would encourage any seniors to go to Gloucester Senior Center on Facebook. Make sure you like our page to start to get the stuff. We're going to be doing a lot more on that. We're going to be trying to engage in some Facebook Live stuff. We're very aware of some of the pitfalls that seniors have to be aware of if they're going to be out there and actively on Facebook. So we're trying to address that as well and find some videos that talk about some of those cautions that seniors need to be aware of. And we'll have that right there on Facebook and to the top of the page. So that they can just be on Facebook kind of in a safe manner, because that can have its own issues. But we do want to start to use Facebook more, and that's one of the places where we can put that schedule. Right now, the schedule, they can call us for that, and basically the schedule just kind of says things like, Tuesdays walking at the boulevard, and they tell you what time they start the pickups at the buildings. But it's very hard on any given day to say exactly what time the bus will be at each specific building, because that depends on how many people call for a ride. So, and it is done by appointment. So when folks call, that's when they find out exactly what time the bus will be at that building on any given day. But we do have kind of a rough schedule of Tuesdays walking the boulevard, Wednesdays is Marshall's Farm Stand and Market Basket, and we can kind of go down that with them, so they know on what day which activities take place, but then drill down to that final level of what time they can expect to walk outside and see that bus sitting there. They would need to call Kata for that information.
Okay, call Kata, not Elder Services.
Yeah, it would be Kata, but they can call us too. Call us for anything. We want to say hi. Just call us, and seriously, call us and we'll refer them out. We'll tell them where to call, and then we also get the chance to just kind of say hi and say how are you doing too. So yeah.
Great.
Yeah, it's great.
We'll stay in touch, Elise, for sure, to get more updates from the Senior Center. I think that's super important, especially, towards the end of summer and fall now.
Thank
you.
We're
glad you're there.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad I'm here too. Like I said, it really absolutely feels like just reviewing my cheat notes to make sure I hit everything I wanted to talk about here. And I think I did. But yeah, it feels I feel incredibly blessed for a kid who grew, I was born and raised here and love seniors, and everybody does, and to be able to engage in work that is this meaningful, I feel incredibly blessed. And to work with the folks that I get to collaborate with, the Council on Aging Board is just an amazing, committed bunch of people, totally in it, 100%. And similarly with the Friends of the Council on Aging, to provide that kind of fundraising and financial support that can enable some of those extra things that might come up that we might need. And right now, everything's so new that we don't even know what some of those things might be. But we know that the Friends are going to be more than happy to do their part too in trying to try to address whatever those needs might be. So I can't thank you both enough for this service, for everything that you've done to bring these KPAN Todays. I'm an avid viewer. I watch all the time. I think it's fantastic what you guys are doing for the community and bringing just all these different faces, you know what I mean, for everybody to see. And it's informational, and it is just nice to see some familiar faces.
So again, I hope the seniors are paying attention. If they have any questions, that's what this interview basically says. Call Elise at the Senior Center, right? They are happy to hear from you and happy to answer questions.
Yep, she is your central nervous system, folks, so hit her up for all your needs. All right, coming up now, we have James McLeod. He owns the Bubble Factory. It's a glassworks place over in Essex. I think it's over on Choate. We both worked with James in the past. And now he has opened up a new shop in Rockport. What's this all about?
Yeah, he has a beautiful little retail space in Rockport. I interviewed him yesterday. And what I need to add to this interview is that James is so humble. He just sort of talks about, yeah, well, we have our glass blowing and we have the shop now. But he has worked with the world's masters in glass blowing, including the Dale Chihuly workshop I think it's in Seattle. Yeah. And, all of the top people in the world in glass blowing, James has done this. And when you walk into his store, you see these beautiful glasses, but he has also created some amazing pieces, including all the lamps for the Longfellow Bridge in Cambridge.
So the Bubble Factory is our core studio, which is, we started a few years ago in Essex, and that is, we do a lot of different things here. It's, we have wholesale accounts, we make our own product line, we do education, we have classes on the weekends, and we do a lot of custom fabrication. So as part of what had happened last year, we started producing our own production line out of the studio, and we have a beautiful showroom here. And probably last September through December, our sales really started to increase, and we invited people here to visit the showroom as though it was a store. And in the holidays, everything really took off, and we had the entire infrastructure to have a retail space. And one of the people that was visiting last December approached us because they were leaving a store on Bearskin Neck and wanted to know if we'd like to talk to the landlord. So it was kind of in the back of our minds, and it made sense, and we decided to go all in. And the lease started in February.
So you did the ribbon cutting more recently, right?
We did. So yeah, that was in June. June is when we officially opened.
Okay, in the middle of a pandemic.
Yes.
How'd that go?
It went surprisingly well. I mean, I had a moment right in the beginning to back out of the lease. And, I sat down with my team, via Zoom, and we had all basically shut down the studio in March. And I was away, I came back, and then we all had a meeting that next week to try to decide, among many things, if we wanted to continue with the store. And, with me taking the lead, we all voted yes and decided it was, basically this whole business was built off of a series of calculated risks. And I think what it boiled down to is that if anybody is familiar with what to do in, confusing times, artists are. And, we, on a regular basis, deal with trying to figure out how we're going to pay bills and how we're going to continue making product. And it wasn't an unusual experience for us. So we remodeled our business a bit, put a lot of energy into the retail side of things, and opened the store. And, to be perfectly honest, we have a kind of modular company here. And by doing this, it actually allowed us to survive and to thrive during the last 4 or 5 months because we became one of our biggest clients with the store. And so whereas we might not be hearing back from wholesale accounts as usual, we knew that if we really put our time and energy into marketing, then we could be a good client for ourselves.
Well, I just love that there is a resource for your beautiful glass blown products right here in my little town. And I think it's a great addition to Bearskin Neck to have a locally made product right there. So how much more production have you had to be doing to keep up now with the retail space?
It's become a lot more. I mean, we're entering into our busiest season of the year. The September through December, traditionally, no matter what you do, it always picks up speed, and we're at capacity. So we are successful in stocking our store with inventory, but we're working 6 days a week to do it now, and it's actually worked out well. We have a few other accounts that are on hold, and so we're constantly rethinking things to figure out how we can be able to produce more. We'd like to be ahead of the game, but right now we're basically even with the sales that we're making. So a lot of times we just restocked an entire inventory on an item in 2 days because it was all sold out in the store. So
culturally, the difference between working in your beautiful barn in Essex, you've got the fires going there and all your workers blowing glass and your family's nearby, as opposed to this little seaside town, a little bit touristy, this little lane with all these little shops. Some of them have been there for generations. Some of them are newer. How's that feel for you?
I think it's a welcome change. I love being in the studio here, but it more than anything contextualizes the work that we make. And so it's actually been really great to interact with our clients in the store. We get a new perspective on our own work, and have been able to also do a lot of custom design work out of there. But all in all, I think it turned out to be the perfect spot for us. I think it's a boutique store. It's a boutique town. I think we, along with a few other stores that have recently moved in there, have a different sort of target market than some of the existing stores. And, I think it's just a good collection of good company to keep with all the other stores that are in town there. So personally, it's been very healthy for us, and it's kind of gets us out of our little world here sometimes, and we can meet the general public that way and talk to them about our work.
Well, apparently not in my time, but not that long ago either, I have heard that there was a whole scene in Rockport where shop owners would close for dinner and then reopen until 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and there was this whole strolling experience. So I'm hoping you new people on Bearskin Neck might sort of reinvigorate that idea sometime.
I hope that's the local town officials have really been extremely helpful in our startup, but that's a conversation they're having a lot, is trying to make it a town that is open year round, not closed during the winter and spring, and to really bring back this evening shopping. And I think when restaurants really start to be able to open up, you might see that.
Be really nice. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, James. And I look forward to seeing you on Bearskin Neck. I encourage everyone to go down there and check them out, and also to visit the Bubble Factory, right?
Yes, of course. We have classes starting in the fall. So.
All right, that puts a bow on your Wednesday show. We want to thank everyone for watching and thank Elise and James for their time. Tomorrow we have Mitch Vieira. He's the town administrator for Rockport, and Pam Bowden, the superintendent of schools in Manchester and Essex. We will see you then.